Oh, right off the bat says, "Hola."
Hola, Fly Fox Pro. I've had some interactions with Fly Fox Pro on Instagram.
Ah,
I've seen some of his comics he's working on.
oh, cool.
I think it's a he. I apologize if I guess misgendered you. Anyway, the
Well, I mean,
I
you were
found out.
you. It's a coin toss whether or not you were right or not. Because
Well,
I
there was
insist,
somebody that
it's only a
there was
50%
some
chance.
there was someone on our feed that we thought was a male that ended up being a female, but I don't think it was Fly Fox Pro. I think that was someone else that was that said something along the lines of "I'm a girl" or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I don't mean to, you do you. Put it that
I'll
way.
do me.
I'll do me. I am not getting in that arena.
Okay.
Anyway, so I found out today I may be back to working at home, and I'm not happy about it because
That's interesting.
the numbers. The number. I don't know if you watched the virus numbers. The virus numbers have been real bad here in Oklahoma over the last couple days.
They've been told to make those virus numbers bad.
Well, I'm not quite ready to go there, full blown Alex Jones, but I kind of wonder. I mean, there's. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think obviously the numbers were going to get bad because of
Well, yeah,
opening.
because it's extremely virulent cold virus that has been unleashed on us. Yeah.
Yes.
We're all going to get it eventually. It's going to kill some of us from just being mostly ready to go in terms of like the ones it kills. But of course, the
I'm in
fact
trouble.
that
I'm in trouble then because I'm ready to go any day, man.
you're ready to go.
I've made my peace with Jesus.
There we go.
The insanity of the world has driven me
Well,
insane.
well, and that's exactly what they're counting on. They want to keep things at fear levels. I just got done listening. I suggest you get it out of the library too. It's a good audio book
What's it
called
called?
Influence. Scott Adams gets most of his little tricky notions from it. Basically,
Oh yeah.
it's a huge influence on him.
Did you get it
It,
on overdrive?
yeah, and it's by a guy named
I don't know if you can
oh
see what I'm doing. I'm getting it right now. If it's
okay.
available, but
Yeah, but anyway, it makes several points about it. If you want to influence people, but it starts at the top. The top is fear. You
oh
don't
yeah,
you don't do anything until you get fear taken care of.
yeah, that's
In other
true.
words, if you are worried about something, you can't take care of all those other little projects you supposedly have in mind to do. You have to take care of what has got you paralyzed with fear. And that is what the media is doing to all these people. I can't get over the number of people that should be semi-invulnerable to it. They should be able to say,
Yeah,
I know what's being done to me. I should be able to say, no, I don't. I'm not buying into it. But, that's not the way it works, I
I'm
guess.
I'm gonna do two things that common sense tells you to never do, especially in a live stream that that will go. One is I'm gonna get political, and then I'm gonna get religious.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And if anyone disagrees with that, I apologize. This is not an attack. This is just my observation slash belief. First is I always like, and whatever you think about him is fine. But I always like what Rush Limbaugh says. For example, and I believe it was back when Clinton was in office, and they would talk about, oh, we're having a recession. He would say, if they say that, don't participate. And
Yeah.
basically, what he's saying is, don't don't let the media influence how you think. In other words, if people tell you, and you can fill in the blank, I don't care what it is, whatever it is, if the media tells you this is the situation, what he means, I think what he means when he says don't participate, what he's saying is don't listen to the media, look at what's going on around you, and that's what you believe, and that's what influences your life. Everyone gets worked up about big presidential stuff, when in reality most of that stuff doesn't affect you.
That's right.
Most of, and
right.
and that's what he's saying. And again, if you don't like Rush Limbaugh or whatever, I apologize. Don't get hung up on that. Instead, listen to the advice, which is kind of my interpretation, because he didn't spell it out this way. My interpretation was watch what's really happening. For example, if the media is telling you, oh, unemployment is so high, look around. If unemployment's really high, you'll know it, because you'll know a lot of people don't have jobs. When unemployment was bad 8 years ago, I knew a lot of people that were unemployed. I didn't have to listen to the media to tell me that unemployment was high. I knew people that were living it. Thankfully, I wasn't in it, but you knew what was going on. So so that's the first thing is if there's something going. So in other words, if there's a pandemic, don't let it. Don't be part of it. Now, I'm not saying that to don't wear a mask. I mean, I wear a mask every day. I wash my hands. I do this. Be safe. Be smart. But don't let that. If they tell you, oh, it's this global pandemic and thousands of people are dying, but yet, like me, I don't believe that I know anyone personally.
Single person.
I don't know a single person in this state that has had COVID. I know one person. I know of two. I know two people. One of them is a guy that used to be the youth minister at my church. He now lives in Washington and has for 10 years. He had it. A guy that I know in New York, his mother had it. I've never met his mother, and his mother's never been here. So, for all intents and purposes, I'm not participating. Now, I'm being smart, but okay. So that's the first thing. That's me getting political. I'm gonna get religious. If you read the Bible, and whether you believe it or not, whatever. But if you read the Bible, one thing, and if you read very much of the Bible, or very often, one thing that will jump out to you. The Bible is a book of, I think it's 52 books, written by multiple authors over thousands of years, from the Old Testament to the New Testament.
Thousands or hundreds?
I think it's 2,000 years, maybe.
Really?
The span. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was, I think it's 800 years between the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so there is one thing that jumps out at me that is a consistent message. And God, over and over and over, is telling people, do not be afraid. From the beginning to the end, people are told, don't be afraid. And I believe the reason, beyond any spiritual reason, one of the reasons is like you just say, because if people are afraid, that's all they got to do. That's all that occupies your mind.
Yeah.
Is how do I solve that fear? How do I resolve that fear?
Right.
And so Sorry, I'm going to share this on Facebook. I think, if I can find it. But anyway, and again, I'm not trying to beat anybody up with politics or religion. But I mean, I just think that it's interesting that the Bible says so often, "Do not be afraid." Sorry. Sorry. Oh, I'm trying to copy this. Okay. So I can paste it in Facebook, because occasionally you have friends that are not in Facebook, or you're not in Facebook,
right?
And so I think they like to watch. People told me they like to watch. Anyway, okay, I'll get off my high horse. Except I'm annoyed because I have to go back I have to start working at home again for a little while. It just not that I mind so much. I don't like it. I'd rather be in the office, but and my wife is here, and has been, but I just feel like we're going backwards. That's what I don't like.
Yeah.
Because I thought we were doing good, But
well, yeah, I'm kind of, I'm a little bugged by it because I know we are being manipulated.
Yes, I think the virus is real, but it's being used.
Well, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the main thing you know about it is that they've said we need to keep this economy damped down, and so
Jeez.
they have decided that they're willing because most of these guys in charge have got their hands on the tiller.
Yep.
Don't they're fine. They're going to be fine. They don't need any
Oh,
money.
they don't care. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't
So
care.
if you are in government, you have a job. So
Yeah.
so that there's no sweat there for anything that they ask of you. Because they're covered.
Yeah. Well, and let's face it, there are a lot of people that like. Well, one. Well, I was at where were we at? My wife and I were somewhere, and I was talking to a girl, and she was kind of grousing because her roommate worked at a retail store. I won't say where, but it's a local place. It was laid off. Well, it was a chain. It was a chain of a local place, an outdoor supply place. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And she was laid off, and so she was drawn on unemployment, and she got that, and she was making more on unemployment.
Yeah.
And so now that
yeah.
things have started to open, and she's refused to go back to her job.
Yeah.
They've called her and said, "Do you want to come back?" And she's like,
you
"No,
bet.
I'm making." She's getting an extra $600 a week, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And
I completely understand that.
And I don't know. I mean, I want to be careful because I want to be sympathetic to anybody that's lost their job, and the idea that I mean, don't get me wrong. If things go bad, I could lose my job pretty easily. I feel like, but it's I don't know. I just think too many people are too comfortable with the way it is, and somebody like me, I'm looking at this going, "Oh my gosh, this cannot last forever." I mean, eventually the country will run out of paper to print money on, I guess.
Well, you understand that to give a person an example of just how fake all the hysteria is, the moment after Trump was done with his rally in Tulsa, they were putting out numbers saying that that they were having a spike. Well, that's got a 2-week incubation period or longer. So basically, they were so anxious to put the onus of a spike on him. They didn't. It doesn't matter to them either because as long as they get 50% of the people believing it, they've accomplished their deal.
Right.
So
well,
they put the big lie out there. It's a done deal. The lie is there. It's in place, and deal with it because that's their position of power. They can do it.
If we get kicked off of YouTube, we'll know why this time.
I guess. Oh yeah.
You'll have to watch the YouTube feed. Last time we got political, we got kicked off. Even though I don't think this is political,
Well, it's all
have you been watching the feed?
What's that? I am.
How dare you espouse the same ideals as me? Scott, cancel this man. Hey,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a live and let live guy. You do your thing, I'll do mine.
Hey, look! Did you see the one above there? He's the guy that now owns the trademark comics great Preston Poulter. If Fly Fox Poe wins a contest with him tonight, he's going to get Scott to draw the comic.
Oh, I didn't see that. I'm sorry. Hey, you know what? This is page 11. In 11 pages, I'll be unemployed in the comic industry. So yeah, I'll from your mouth to God's ear. Oh, I wasn't gonna get religious, was I?
It's all right.
Anyway, you know. So how you doing, Ellis?
Pretty good. I've been watching something real irreligious, even though they've had their usual go of making the religious people in it kind of the biggest crazy goofballs.
Oh yeah, you can't trust them.
Ozark. It's
Oh
Ozark.
yeah.
Have you seen any of that?
No, because I don't. It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, yeah. You don't have that?
I don't have Netflix, believe it or not, and everyone tells me you should get it. And first off, I am a fan of physical media, and all you got to do is look at all the various things that even before the current situation have been removed due to copyright violations, whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a fan of physical media. If I see a movie that comes out and I want it, I'll buy it. I'm not my budget is not so close to the bone that I can't buy a $20 Blu-ray. And there's not that much coming out that I really want to see. And there's more than enough to watch on Amazon Prime, and I don't have that much time, honestly.
Oh, there's more than
I got
enough to watch. You're right about that.
Yeah, so I've resisted the Netflix thing just because of that. Anyway, tell me about Ozark. I've heard about it.
Well, it's really cool, but I made a post about it. It is so repellent when it first starts, when you're getting to know these people, that I literally had to take it in 5 and 10 minute moment segments.
Oh, jeez.
And by the time I was done with the first show, yes, I was hooked. But getting there was kind of painful, actually. I mean, you get to know these people that have, got these nasty attributes. Basically, they could be better.
So it's like The Sopranos.
Yeah, they could be better people, basically. And you're not sure you want to follow this crowd, but then the main guy has this crisis moment by the end of it, and you say, okay, this is like Breaking Bad. I'm on board. It's going to be cool.
So are they moonshiners? I don't know. Is that racist of me to think that
no
a show called Ozark could be about moonshiners?
No, these guys are completely fish out of water. Stranger comes to town.
Oh, that's
in terms
right.
Of like
they're
what
like
they
mobsters that got relocated or something.
No, they're not even mobsters. They are basically the nuclear family who's just got the head of the family, Marty Bird, just has this talent with the books to where he is fantastic at money laundering. And that talent, because his partner, well, this will give you some surprise killer moments. But anyway, he just finds himself having, in desperation, to move to the Lake of the Ozarks with the more coastline than California, as he says, while he's trying to save his life with this pitch of why he shouldn't be killed. And they let him go. And so he's got to launder just an incredible amount of money in a brand new place. He's just been dropped, and he's not.
That does sound interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Now it gets really, the writing. You could say it's really good writing, but at the same time, it can't help itself. It gets really stupid every now and then. It's like, that wouldn't happen. And anytime you're saying that to yourself, that wouldn't happen. It feels like, okay, I'm dealing with dumb people, but it doesn't happen enough that it preys on your mind the way that, say, The Walking Dead does, which I gave up on a long time ago.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm kind of bad about TV. If I like something, I'll watch it to the bitter end. But man, I'm fickle. If something just kind of skeeves me out or whatever, it's like, nope, I'm out.
Well, you may be
that's
out.
how it was with Sopranos.
You may Yeah.
You
Sopranos came.
probably ended up following it, and then they canceled it from Amazon, which,
Yeah, that was poor timing. Yeah.
that's okay. Hey,
Now,
I don't always have great timing.
how far did you get?
I watched the first episode of the last season.
Oh my gosh, what a place to hang it up at. Oh
It's
man.
okay. I don't miss it. What I've done, and I think I've told you this, I've gone through Amazon, because what'll happen is I draw until about 9 o'clock, and then Michelle goes to bed, and then when Michelle goes to bed, I'll go in there, and tell her good night and all that jazz, and then
Well, it was just
oh, he's Fly Fox Pro may have just confessed to owning a now. To be fair, that you can still see Gone with the Wind. It has not been removed. It's been removed from one of the services, but I don't think they're rounding up DVDs, so you're
yeah.
safe.
We will
but
show Song of the South sometime tonight, so watch for that.
yeah, so watch for that. Now that you can't find.
You can't.
But that's Disney's thing,
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so I'll watch. And then I go in, and then on Facebook I've been reading through the Bible live, because some of my friends have been interested in that, and I've been doing that and so I get done. It's about 10 minutes, and then I read, or then I'll go watch a little bit of TV, and I'll either read or draw while I'm watching TV. And that's when I was watching The Sopranos, and it's only about an hour, maybe, probably closer to 45 minutes. Well, I've gone through on Amazon, and I found Magnum PI, the Rockford Files.
Oh,
Perry
yeah.
Mason is no longer. I was disappointed in that, but like Star Trek's on that, the original Star Trek. So there's plenty of things to watch, So there's no shortage of things for me to watch. Now the bad thing is,
Perry
if I
Mason's
start
no
working,
longer there, huh?
no, they've taken it off of Prime.
Those were great. Those kept me company
Oh
for a long
gosh.
time while I was doing some drawing. I forget what project I was on, but that was great.
I had my best friend in high school, or one of my best friends, was a guy named Kevin, and unfortunately Kevin has passed away now, but he died of cancer a few years ago. But me and him and Dave were buddies, and of course Dave.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
doing our podcast with Dave, but anyway. So Dave didn't go to my school. He lived here in Oklahoma City. I grew up in a town called Yukon, which is a little ways from here. It's a suburb of Oklahoma City. And Kevin went to school with me. And so what we'd do is my grandmother had a foreign exchange student from Germany that was staying with her, and he'd kind of hang out with us. And at lunchtime, we had open campus. At lunchtime, we kind of had an arrangement. Kevin's parents were retired. They were a little bit older. His dad had taken early retirement. In fact, he ended up suing Western Electric, which then became Lucent. Made quite a bit of money off of them from that. But he was retired. Kevin's mom was retired. So we'd go to Kevin's house, and all three of us would go to Kevin's house. And his mom always made us sandwiches, and they were always watching Perry Mason, man. So anytime I watch a Perry Mason, I think of Kevin's parents. That, unless it was baseball season, and his dad was a huge Cubs fan because they're from Chicago, and he'd watch. And I swear, I'd go over there, in, I don't know, January, and he'd be watching a Cubs game,
Somehow.
But he's a big baseball fan, and I've tried to watch baseball. I'm not a big sports guy anyway, but man, baseball's.
Yeah.
If I like to listen to it on the back years ago. I delivered auto parts when I was in college, and at the time the truck only had an AM radio, and there was no AM station. Now there's a lot of AM stations, but this is pre Rush Limbaugh, pre talk radio, and so there was country stations. There was one of the rock stations had a simulcast of their FM station. And then there was another station that I don't know what they normally did, but they would play baseball games in the summer. They'd play Cubs games. And I got to where when I deliver auto parts, I'd listen to Cubs games. And it was great because I could go into a body shop, drop off, a hood, some fenders, and some other parts. Go back out, and the score would be the same, and maybe one guy would have
Yeah.
got on base.
Yeah.
It's
Nothing.
like,
Nothing happened. Yeah.
yeah, it's like the perfect. So I keep telling myself I need to condition myself to listen to baseball while I draw. Because it's like, okay, nothing exciting. You can't watch basketball because something's always
Yeah. It's just company, kind of like some podcasts are just company. You just turn
exactly.
them on. Yeah.
I listen to a podcast, and I don't want to say which one it is, but it's a couple guys that are comic creators. One's a letterer, one's an artist, and I'm not huge fans of their work, but they're buddies, and one of them moved away, and so they do this podcast just weekly, just kind of like how we're doing this. Is just kind of a way to talk. There's no format or anything. They just talk, and I stopped listening to it because they just were getting really crazy political, and I was just like, okay, I don't. Anyway, so the other day I thought, well, in the riots the other day, the comic shop that they're always promoting, their kind of local shop, was one that got destroyed in Chicago.
Jeez. You mean?
And so,
and I tell you, these people that are
yeah,
destroying stuff and getting away with it, you got to know that personality that is destroying stuff is just the type of personality that digs destroying stuff.
It's like the little kid that burned ants.
It's like, yeah,
and
exactly.
never grew up.
It's just the guys with the, like you say, the fetish for it are out there, and they're taking advantage of it. Did you have any more point to make about?
Some people, and I work with a guy who's like 24. One of the only artist I've hired since I've been the boss is this guy, and great kid, a great hire. If I ever hire anybody else, I'll be happy, because I won't be happy, but I'll be happy I hired this guy. Totally deserves a job. Totally works at it. Great guy. And I'm always kind of giving him just like advice. And I was telling him today, I go, his name's Pedro. He's Hispanic. Some people in this world, they don't. There's some people that want to create. They want to make things because they just are geared to create. I said some people are just geared to destroy. They don't care about beauty. They don't care about truth. They don't care. They just want to tear something down. So. But
yeah, it's
anyway, I forgot where I was going.
I'm sorry. I blew you off. I blew you off your.
No. I know where it's going.
Go ahead. Then.
No. That's okay. I got it. So I listened to this podcast because I was just curious what these guys were up to, because Chicago is another city that's kind of had some issues, and these guys were so depressed because I thought they would be happy. I didn't know what to expect, but it was. And I would listen to a couple. I listened to some protest. They were all after the virus, but I listened to a little bit of pre-protest and during the protest, and they were bummed about how the protests were going. The destruction, which I think, because these guys are not destructive guys. I don't agree with them necessarily politically, but they're not destroyers. They're creators. Yeah. But so they're kind of bummed about some of that. But even before that, they were just so at us. They were concerned about the comic industry, because they both work in comics. They're not going to happen. They were, but they were just. I don't know. I was shocked at. One guy was just like, "I'm so depressed, I don't even want to get out of bed in the morning." And it was surprising to me. But I think, I don't know. I think that you have to find. You can't let external circumstances take your happiness. Because I like this kid at work. His car blew up the other day. He drives a 2013 Dodge Challenger, nice looking car, and the other day it was raining real hard on last Friday, and he was driving, and he got water in his engine, basically destroyed the engine on his car.
That's not
And
supposed to
so
happen.
he had texted me this, and I said, well, if you need a ride, let me know. I'll come by and get you or whatever. So he said, what?
I say
What'd you
that
say,
I say
Hawk?
that's not supposed to happen when you get water.
Ellis?
Hey Scott, I think your battery's low.
No. Well, there was a weird design thing about his car.
Well, you're glitching.
That he told me about.
Are you?
Yeah, you're glitching.
Oh, I'm
too.
glitching. I'm glitching to you, but you are actually. See, I'm looking at my my feed, and
I think it may be.
I'm not skipping like you are. You're skipping. People cheered for the guillotine. You were right, Fly Fox Pro. I read.
Fly Fox. Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, you're glitching.
Yep, because they didn't think it'd be there next.
Yep.
Okay. You may go out and come back in. Okay, I'll do that.
This is.
Hang on, I'm
Go ahead. Do whatever it takes.
trouble with.
We are with you, Scott. Whatever it takes. I'm experimenting with some halftones. I wasn't happy with how ordinary my art was looking, so I'm trying to make it at least look like it's got a little more flair to it. It was just too flat. This is a good idea. Get some erasure out of that. That is gets a little lost line going. I'm using a halftone, which is, hey, oh, I've got two Scott Sackett's now. Let's see which one wants to be on. Add to stream. What's that going to do to me?
Deleted.
Hey, Scott, you're double streaming. Okay,
are we good?
Yeah, you're good. I think. How'd you do that? What'd you do?
I don't know.
You double streamed in some weird
I only
way.
got one copy of it open. Oh well. If you want to get rid of one, you can. Get rid of
I
one.
already. Well, it already took care of itself. It went away.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
So the subject.
Anyway, so.
Go ahead.
So this kid's car sucked all the water in the engine and destroyed the engine. But he told me. I said, "Well, do you need a ride?" And he said, "No, I'm driving my brother-in-law's car." Okay. So then he was telling me, we were talking about it Monday, and he said, I just paid the car off. And so we were talking, and I said, it sucks when something like that happens. I said, but I'll tell you though, you'll be a lot happier in life if you look at the good side of things. And I said, for example, you have a car that you can drive. Your brother-in-law's lent you his car. You don't have to worry about transportation. You don't have to worry about bumming a ride from me or whatever. I said, so, that's a good thing. I said, your car, it's a bummer that you just paid it off, but I know people that have had cars blow up and they've paid for a blown up car for 2 years, So
Yeah.
At least you're not paying on a car you can't drive. And he agreed. And, so I tried to get him to, I'm trying to influence him to be more positive. I mean, not that he's negative, but just that you got to look at the positive side of life, And I think because I've told him, bad stuff is going to happen to you. That's just part of life, I don't know. Anyway, so if you work with me, you get to listen to my stupid advice. No.
Well, it's like everything. People can absorb that and say, "Yeah, I am with you," and other people would, absorb it as like, "So you say," basically. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
they're not ready to really internalize anything Most of us
Sure.
aren't. Most of us are.
Yeah, no. I agree with that. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel. Have you ever worked at a job where you've been like in a position of like responsibility for people or like leadership or whatever?
Oh no, not really. No, I was given a little
Okay.
bit of a top kind of position. Nah, not no, not really. I always
Okay.
let somebody
I
else be the guy in charge.
okay. I feel like
But I always, resented anybody in charge of me. I always thought, man, why do I have to work for idiots? I'm kidding.
I won't take. I know you were not
That
talking about me.
that's the typical employee refuge of saying I'm surrounded by idiots.
Oh yeah. Well, I feel very responsible for my employees. Um, and a lot of times I will tell them not to. There will be situations, and I will either tell them to do something or not to do something, strictly because, and I always tell them, if somebody's going to get in trouble over this, I want it to be me, because management knows me. Well, first off, if one of my employees gets in trouble, I'm probably getting in trouble. I mean, it reflects on me anyway. But also, management knows me. I've worked there for 30 years.
Jeez,
That
30 years.
if
Yep.
actually it's coming up on 32, but
My
uh,
gosh.
you know, they're not gonna. If I can get, I guess really my thing is I can take the heat if something bad happens. So I try
Hmm.
and be real, and that's one thing that my employees can do that really bugs me is put themselves in a situation where they could potentially get in trouble. In fact, we had a talk the other day about, because both of the two that work in the room with me had relatives come up to work and meet him in the parking lot to drop something off. And I said, we need to not do that. I said, because, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Oh, one of the guys in our room was trying to give out cookies today. He brought cookies. I'm like, should we be giving out cookies in the middle of a pandemic? Well, anyway, he's not my responsibility. So, anyway, I'm sure they probably think I'm a jerk, but whatever. It's okay. They didn't get in trouble. So I was looking forward. My work is going to be closed the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th of July. We're closing an extra day for the 4th of July, and I told Michelle, I go, man, I want to go downtown. The libraries are supposed to open. Now I'm wondering what's going to happen because our coronavirus numbers are up.
Yeah.
The libraries were. I was talking to somebody at the library the other day, doing curbside service, and she was telling me they were talking about the 29th they were going to reopen, and I'm going, no, I don't think that's going to happen now. I miss going. I don't do it a lot, but the stuff I do, I miss.
Sure.
I mean, I guess it's like everybody, but I mean, we didn't go out and eat a whole lot or anything. We didn't do a bunch of crazy stuff. But you go, man, I want to go to the library and look for some books. I mean, you can
Yeah.
go. I've been getting them online and getting curbside, but it is not the same.
It's not the same as
know,
browsing the rack. Yeah.
no, Michelle and I went downtown. It was like Memorial Day weekend, or I think it was that first day that we were open in the state. But we went downtown. The library wasn't open. We went down in the tunnel. We walked around. There was a coffee shop open, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Even though I'd said I'm going, and I still may go down because that Thursday that I'm off, Michelle has to work. I don't know about that Friday if she's working. I mean, I want to start recording again, in person. Dave and I
Hmm.
have, but I think Barry, because of his job, which, by the way, if anybody listening hadn't listened to our podcast, we do. I personally do 3 podcasts. I do Better Than Fiction with 2 other friends of mine, and then we do Classic Cinema podcast with Ellis is on there, and we do pre-Jaws blockbusters. We talk about, someone picks one, we talk about it, and then we watch it, and then we talk about what we just saw.
Yeah, and those links now work. I'm
oh, do they?
Yeah, so I haven't gone back and gotten all the broke link instances fixed, but every one that shows up now will have links that actually work.
Okay. Anyway, those are usually pretty fun. We do that once a month. Ellis is on it. And because Barry, the guy whose house we do it at, has a real nice home theater.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, for me, I don't know about you, Ellis, but for me, that's the appeal. Is watching these movies at
we watched Night of the Hunter and
big,
King Kong. I've never, I automatically picked two black and white films, but we saw films better than I've ever seen them in my life, and these are movies that I really appreciate. We ought to watch Gone with the Wind just for the hell of it. I don't know.
Of course, maybe we ought to. It's long. Isn't it long?
It's a little too long. I watched a movie the other day. You talk about long movies. I watched the 4-hour version of Hamlet with Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah,
that he directed and starred in. Wow. I mean, it took a while to watch, but at the same time, I think I said this the last time. We did talk about it last time. I just now
talked about it a little bit.
Yeah,
that's okay.
It takes a certain amount of time to watch certain things.
I hate doing podcasts remotely on Zoom, or we're not doing Zoom. We're doing some software Barry has for his work.
Yeah, Barry likes it. Yeah,
but it's just not the same. I miss being with people. I don't people and all these commercials make it sound like, oh, it's great. This is great that we can do this. And I'm like, you know what? I'm glad we have the technology, but this is ridiculous. I want to go, when I went back to my work, this is my work. Okay. Someplace normally you go, I don't care about going there. When I went back to work that first time, I was choking back tears. I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so good to see my coworkers.
It's good to be home. Yeah.
Well, I think that I don't think people were meant to be cooped up. I mean, I don't care how good your Zoom is or whatever. It's not. It's not how humans are meant to interact.
It's caused. There's no doubt that it's probably not too badly hyperbole that there have been suicides because of this.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. Yeah. My wife is desperate to go back into her office. In fact, and hopefully no one she's told me I will have to, because at her work they've talked about not going back. They've talked about just working remotely forever.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, I will quit. She'll quit, and she loves her job, but she's like, and the thing is she just wants to go. It's not even because I was like, well, we could rent an office somewhere, find some place where you could go, but it's not leaving the house. It's that she wants to be part of there's something about being part of an office,
sure. Mm-hmm.
And my wife, I've got a bunch of friends outside of work. Michelle really doesn't, she's your typical kind of engineer type, and so her those connections are important to her,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in fact, I'm having to, which I'm fine with, but like on the weekends, I'm always like, do you want to do something? There was one Sunday, she was depressed. So I'm not depressed, but she was unhappy. Let me put it that way. Depressed implies something clinical.
She had ennui. Yeah.
She had ennui, so we went for a walk around the neighborhood, and that seemed to.
Mm-hmm.
We've been running. I like that. I'm ready to go run. We run every morning though, because my work, even when I'm in the office, you can't get, because of the temperature checks and everything. I can't get in until 7:25, whereas normally I was getting there at 7:15. So there's no, yeah.
You want to know how smart Flyfox Pro is? He says brevity is the soul of wit. Now watch my 4-hour play. That line, that classic line, brevity is the soul of wit, comes from Hamlet. It's part of what's his name's advice Well, is it?
British.
Maybe it's not. But anyway, I know it's in there.
That's funny.
Yeah.
The anyway, so I'm hoping that everybody gets to go back to work.
Yeah, that'd be good.
You know, you long for
Get them out of my park. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
All these
Well,
people
you know, and what's funny, I'll tell you what's funny, Ellis, is in the past I've looked at your lifestyle and been not really jealous as such, but you know, I've kind of thought, man, Ellis has got the life because he gets up when he wants to. You can read all night, you can draw all night, you know, but I'm
and
not
then he
cut
doesn't
out
do
for
it.
that.
Yeah.
And then you don't do it. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's on you. But
Yeah.
well, when we were, you know, I worked from home for 6 weeks, and even though I was working, we were on a very reduced schedule because there wasn't that much work. And my company paid us for 40 hours. And so they kind of, in fact, I kind of got not really in trouble, but they kind of gave me the business a little bit because they were like, your guys are working 30 plus hours a week. And I was like, yeah, we're kind of busy. And so they were cool with that when I explained it that way. But even then I didn't, you know, I thought, oh, I'll get all, you know, you always think, oh, I'll get all this stuff done. And I didn't get done near, I got a lot done, but I didn't get, there was very specific things I wanted to get done that I didn't get done in that time. And I thought I would, I thought for sure I would, you know, and even now, you know, if I work at home for the next couple of weeks, someone said we'll probably go to the end of June or the end of July. But if I work from home for the next couple of weeks or next 5 weeks, whatever that is, you know, I mean, the only thing I'll be saving is like, commute time, and you know, it's 20 minutes. And today, on the way home from work, I called a friend of mine had texted me, said, "Hey, can we talk on the phone?" I said, "Let me call you on my way home." And so I talked, you know, it was great. I talked to him the whole way home, and I hadn't talked to the guy on the phone for a couple of years, you know. So I don't mind that commute time. It's a good way. But my wife and I have been running, so yeah, we run about 2 miles a day.
Anybody Polonius, you're right, Fly Fox Pro. Polonius is the guy, yeah, that gets stabbed behind the curtain. Yeah. Good old Polonius. He lays a lot of great advice. It's been, he's obviously a smart man, but he didn't know people when it comes to mad, obsessed Danes. They're working on a hair trigger in terms of like being depressed.
I don't think I've read Hamlet. My Shakespeare is pretty limited to what I had to read.
Mine is too. I'm just movie smart, as smart as I am.
I've been trying to find a book to read. Last night I was very depressed not depressed, but I was not happy because I had a pretty good run. I read Murder at the ABA and I read Damnation Alley, and I haven't found anything good to read since then. I don't know why. I keep picking up stuff and putting them down.
I read that stupid political book, which you know, is kind of a waste of time to read, but because he's so at the center of it all, I got the library's copy of Deep State Target by George Papadopoulos. And it is very interesting to read what basically they just came after him. And the guy isn't
Are you talking about Papadopoulos?
Yeah, he's not an ordinary person. Okay. He's one of these guys that is flying just a little crazy because he wants so badly to basically become part of the deep state. He wants to be a mover and shaker. And that thing that they recognized in him, that's really, even though he forgives himself for all his overcharged activities, they put a target on him for a couple of different reasons. He was just the classic kind of outsider, just making his way in to where they could act like, who is this mysterious guy? Anyway, it was interesting to read, but it's hopefully all they're trying to neutralize Barr. by
Oh yeah,
they
I listen a little
they're
bit on
making
the
all
radio
kinds of
today.
they're making all kinds of moves on him, saying we need this guy out of here by
Well,
virtue of
yeah, because
literally.
because
Yeah.
he's like I'm gonna get to the bottom of this.
Hmm. He's got
Yeah,
him. He's got him scared to death, and so every bit of power structure that is still probably got a lot of connections and all that. We can see it every day. I mean, this power didn't go away that these people have. They're just in the minority and don't have the executive at the top, and they don't have bar, which is
yeah, that's the
a very big position to not have.
yeah the well Trump, and again there we go getting political. Trump, I think, screwed up by not cleaning house when he went in. Every other president does it, you know.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh yeah,
I
he
mean,
should have. He should. He tried. He got a little wimpy there for considering that it's Trump and you're fired. He laid back a little bit, and of course you got to if you're insecure about what you can or can't do.
yeah.
And
I think they kind of
but
caught
the
him.
guys like the Clintons were never insecure about what they can do, and they just came
No,
in. They came in and literally just in some cases ruined lives practically with their firings. They made people have to lawyer up with the firings they did on the travel office the moment they
oh
came into
yeah,
power.
yeah, and yeah, it's like okay, yeah.
He asked me, Fly Fox Pro, have you read One Day in the Life of Disanovich? Disanovich. It must be by, what's his name? The guy that wrote Crime and Punishment.
I can't say his name. Dostoevsky or however you
Yeah,
say
Dostoevsky. I can't
it.
say
Yeah.
it.
Sorry.
By the way, you want to hear a great audio book? Listen to Crime and Punishment, read by George Guadal. They
Oh
had
yeah.
they had some people that talked about in the comments for that I looked up on other people's reactions to this version of it.
Yeah.
And this one trucker talked about having to pull over off the road when he got to a certain part of it, and I can believe it because
Oh yeah.
there are moments, and we're talking about how great the book is, but the reading of it is done so well. So yeah,
Okay.
if you
Hang
want to treat
on.
if you want to treat oh yeah, if you want to treat yourself to that classic that nobody could have make you read because it looked like a big solid brick of text. Believe me, you can. The audio book goes down smooth, man.
Okay. Hang on. I'm gonna. And it's Crime and Punish. I think I may have that book. Crime and Punish. I want to make sure I get the right reader.
Right version, huh?
Who read it?
George Guadall, Guidall, I think. I'm listening to something by him now, but it's more like, cops and robbers stuff. Listening to Randy Wayne White and Doc Ford. And Salt River, I believe it's what it's called.
I don't think the library has that one.
They don't have it. They have to because that's where I got it.
Oh, you got it from the library? Oh,
Yeah.
hang on. By Goodall?
Yeah, George Guadall. No, it's by Solzhenitsyn. Oh yeah, about the Gulag, Solzhenitsyn. I think you'll find it compelling. Yeah, I've been told Solzhenitsyn is. I mean, ever since I was a kid, and Bill Buckley was going crazy about how good what Solzhenitsyn had done.
How do you spell this guy's Goodall?
I believe it's Guidall, I think. George Guadell, probably. Maybe there's an EL in there or something. You just what version? What audio book versions are you finding of Crime and Punishment?
You didn't get the disc, right? You got it through Overdrive?
Yeah, I got it. I'm pretty sure I got it through Overdrive. Yeah.
Hang on, let me because there's several versions here.
Hey, Wim, if you're
No,
still out there, there's a digital painter that I know of that I see his work all the time.
I'm not showing
You're
it.
not seeing it, huh?
Not by that reader. I'm showing one by Anthony Anthony Held, and one by Dick Hill.
No, man, that's sad. No, you have to have the George Goodall version. That's the only one I can tell you. I mean, it's going to be a great book, but I'm telling you that version of that reading is just awesome.
Yeah.
This is weird. Now we're going to start searching on the library while we're.
Well, that's what I'm okay.
I'm going to try it myself.
Guidall.
Yeah.
I'm just going to see if I can find anything that's narrated by him.
Yeah, that may be the deal. Maybe I'm spelling it wrong.
This is riveting audio.
Yeah.
Live stream. That's okay. So anyone that's watching is wondering what I'm doing.
I got this. This is George Goodall, 3-time Audie Award winner. I'm spelling it right. Guidall. That's good. that I'm that good at.
Oh, he's done
things.
a bunch of books. He's done a bunch of books. I'm not going to go through all these online, but we did The Gunslinger. We did American Gods.
Oh, he's in demand. Yeah.
So anybody that's listening, our local library, and yours may have it too. They have audiobooks that are through the software is called Overdrive, but it's you can download them to your device. It's great because I can listen to audiobooks at work, and so I'm always maxing out the number of audiobooks I have checked out. The other day I checked out 2 Elvis audiobooks. My wife and I saw a thing about Graceland. Oh no. I'm sorry, not Graceland. We saw a thing about the Memphis Mafia where they're talking about Elvis. And that got me interested in Graceland because it talked about Graceland because they lived in Graceland. And so I checked out a book about Graceland. I was reading about Graceland. But it didn't have enough pictures. I was hoping for more pictures. I wanted to see the jungle room.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something, Ellis, that you may not know. In fact, I think I'm going to do a podcast about Elvis. Elvis died on my 10th birthday. In 1977, on August 16th, 1977, Elvis died. I was 10 years old. I remember that, which is great. Well, for years, because on my birthday, they would show lines of fans at Graceland. The last couple of years, that's kind of died. As his fans have died off, that's kind of died off. But Elvis is, is the king, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I have a on my phone. I have a greatest hits of Elvis, but also have Elvis live at Madison Square Garden. And I got that strictly because I'd heard it was good. But our old minister at church would tell these stories. He was a photographer, and he would listen to he said that was his favorite Elvis album, and he had it in his dark room. I don't know if he's in school or what, but in his dark room he had a record player, and he would play that Elvis and Graceland like late at night when he was developing photos. There's something I've always found something about working late at night on projects that I don't know.
The boomerisms is why I love you guys. So all the stuff that we just barely know how to do, that's why Fly Fox Pro tunes in.
Boomer. Hang on, I just want to point out I am not a boomer.
That's right. I said that on one of my Twitter posts. I said Scott would object to being called a boomer. I forget.
You said that?
Yeah.
I don't care. Except, well, here's what I would say, and again, I'm not offended at Fox Pro. but there is and I haven't looked at.
Well, I just said you'd object. I didn't say you'd be offended.
Yeah, I would object. I would object. I was born in '67, so I'm pretty solid in Gen X by every metrics that you see.
Yeah.
On whatever. That's solid Gen X area.
Yeah.
So, but the if you watch like '80s John Hughes movies and you see people that just did not care, I mean, that's how I grew up. That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like and since this whole boomer and millennial thing has come up, there've been a lot of memes about like, hey, I'm Gen X. I've been ignored since I was a kid. I'm used to it or whatever. And I've really embraced this idea of just not giving a crap about any of that stuff on the
they put brackets around generations, and for what does that last? 20 years or what? Or is it only
something
10?
like that?
I think it's about 20 years.
It's about 20 years.
Yeah, and the flavor of boomers changes on a year by year basis. If you go by what my high school was like, the year before, the class of what would have been 68 or 69, when I was arriving as a freshman in high school. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those guys were crazy compared to us. They were always fighting. They were like, it was like a West Side Story in terms of like stuff about like part of the ritual for them was to be in a little bit of a fist fight. They were more prone to having a little shorter hair. And then when I came through, it was more like that. If you ever saw the movie Dazed and Confused, it was those losers. Yeah. That's my generation, that Dazed and Confused generation. And like I say, every little generation with this onus of being a boomer was just a little bit different, as they came up and through.
I am Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Exactly. Well, that's what is great about movies, is they are a time capsule. You can point to a movie and you say, yeah, that's the way that was. If they're aren't trying to be a costume drama. And even the costume dramas say, oh, yeah, like when I watch Spielberg's Lincoln, I'm watching it and I'm saying, this is what modern liberals think happened with Lincoln. You can't get away from someone doing something historical. You can't get away with the fact that the hand that made it is saying that,
Oh, absolutely.
He's projecting all this stuff into a lot of the times that I don't think was probably there.
Right. Absolutely.
He thinks he doth protest too much. Yeah, that's what Hamlet's mom says. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that's what Fly Fox Pro was saying about me being a.
No. I think he is saying it about you. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to be in my group.
I don't care. It is what it is. As long as I'm like my grandpa used to say, I'm on top of the dirt, so I'm okay.
Polonius could have said that. Well, we've been at it an hour. You want to quit?
Have we really? Oh yeah, we have. We can quit. We can quit. Ellis, it was good to talk to you, man.
Yeah, you guys out there that show up and find this, thanks for being here. And
it's a lot of fun. I'm sorry we don't see more
interact better
comments and stuff. Yeah, we're not
pay
good
attention
at
that.
To you. but I do appreciate it, and and really this whole thing is just an excuse for me to talk to Ellis, since I don't get to see Ellis that much.
We probably haven't seen each other in person. What? Couple of months.
Oh, it's been a couple months at least. I mean, even before the virus, we didn't get together. Ellis and I live in the same town, but Ellis lives on the other side of town.
The bad side of town.
Well,
not quite the total bad side. Yeah,
not the worst part of town, but
not the worst.
But we would get together occasionally, and I would swing by his house occasionally on Fridays because I get off early. But we haven't done that. I haven't seen Ellis in ages. So if the 3rd of July or whatever, if I go downtown, I may let you know if you want to join me.
Okay, yeah.
It just kind of depends.
I probably will show up. Okay, well, I'm ending it, Scott. I'm okay with being ignored. Nay and whim. Nahan. How do you pronounce Nahan? Okay, take it easy.
See ya.
Everybody. Well,